Welcome to KF&JF Podcast. I'm your host, Keith, and I'm so excited that you guys are here to join us today as we elevate the brand and the business of our entrepreneurs. I'm here today with a good friend, and you know what? I want to take a minute right now just to thank all of you guys out there for subscribing and being a part of the KF&JF Podcast team. But first, you know what? Let's introduce our guest.
Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm with Temecula Executive Limos.
You know, Tim, how long have you been in the limo business?
I first started off when I was 25 years old last week. My birthday was April 1st.
Wow,
last week. Turned 25, bro.
Oh, wow, man. You know? So just tell me a little bit about what the limousine business is about and a little bit about how you experienced it so far.
Well, the limousine service, first of all, is being able to provide safe and excellent transportation. Customer service is always first. It all begins with a phone call. So your beginning of the trip is, meeting the customer's needs over the phone, speaking with them, making sure that you ask all the questions, get all their questions answered in regards to what type of trip, what type of vehicle, how many passengers, how many hours they need to service for. And I'm always asking probing questions to make sure that I'm able to provide them with the best vehicle, to give them the best price on their vehicle, and also beyond that, to give them the best experience. Because anytime someone rides in a limo, it's an experience, and you want it to be a memorable experience. It's usually a special occasion, like maybe a wedding or a birthday party, or even going to the airport. You don't want to be stressed out going to the airport, or whatever you need your travel, whatever your travel needs are. I always try to explore to find out what can I do to make sure that I have provided the best service possible. All of our drivers are background checked. Senior drivers that have been in not necessarily the limousine service, but in transportation service, and have a general idea about safety and protocol in regards to that. They're all well trained. We do safety checks. We do background checks, we do drug tests, so we assure that we are on point as best as we can, meeting all the standards of the Department of Transportation to assure that we're doing the best that we can to provide what needs to be done, not only on a professional, but providing customer service, but also making sure our vehicles are well equipped. We have a mechanic, Jojo. Shouts out to Jojo, my mechanic. He's always on point, doing something. He has one of my vehicles right now he's working on, but he's always on point. He's the best guy. He's always an asset to the company, because he makes sure that our vehicles are inspected, every 45 days, and making sure that everything is on point, with our vehicles.
Well, that's a big part of this service is providing good service. It's being able to, the limo service is always, created the experiences for families and friends that are out there, and all these different occasions that you talked about. Talk about one of your memorable experiences, taking someone out or having to deal with a customer.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I guess that one can stand out as just one of our customers. I'm not giving her first name, but her name is Yolanda. Yvette, I'm sorry. I'll do Yvette. Yvette, she uses us every year for her annual ladies day out doing wine tours. And we always end up taking her to various wineries. They usually do something of a celebrative nature, putting light decorations inside the vehicles. We always get with her a little bit early to make sure that everything in the vehicle is the way that she likes it. We always have a great time taking them out. We end up laughing, joking. We do this right here, which is our karaoke. So everyone loves to do the sing-along. So we do a little sing-along with that, and the girls are just out, just having a great time, enjoying their wine, and also just enjoying each other.
Yes. That's, I think about that with my wife and I. One of the main reasons we took limos was that, was safety. Was one of those things where we go out and It was like, oh, it was before designated drivers, like Uber.
Yeah.
All of those things. Limo service was one of those things where we really took advantage of. So talk a bit about what it takes to run a business like this, as far as licensing and all of the different legal aspect of having a limo service.
Well, legal aspects. First of all, you have to go through the California Utilities Commission, the CUP, register your vehicles. You have to make sure that the vehicles are annually safety inspected. We just went through the Highway Patrol yesterday, who came by and make sure that all of our paperwork, our documents are up to date. Everything has to be registered with the state of California. All of our vehicles. There's a TUC tab that you see on the back of our vehicles. That shows that we're transportation company. It's the Utilities Commission, Transportation Department of the Utility Commission, or California Utilities Commission. You have to have those tabs. That means that you are registered. Bigger vehicles like our 10 passenger and more, or we have to be registered with the Department of Transportation. That's where it gets into the other element where you have to have annual, sometimes you can be just pulled over sometimes, and they want to make sure that all your docs are up to date. Insurance is a killer, man.
Yeah.
We have to cover $1.5 million worth of insurance on our vehicles. And so that's one of the things that is really expensive. Some of the stuff that you always have to make sure that you're on point on calling to make sure that everything is up to date, because if you miss something, then you can get penalized.
Yeah.
And they really stick.
Yeah.
They're very much sticklers in regards to that. We're just implementing with one of my employees. I just hired him on as our official trainer. So now we're going to start doing retention training every 60 days to just to follow up, make sure that
protect yourself as well as them.
To make sure that they're following protocol, they're driving the way that they should. And it's just sometimes it's a refresher, man.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get out there, you might not saying that that's a habit, but it could happen. Where you kind of like forget, some of the things that you need to be important. And when driving a vehicle, it's very important. I always tell my drivers, imagine you having this cup of coffee here, and this cup of coffee is sitting right there, and this cup of coffee can't spill. It can't move.
Right.
So it's like flying a plane.
Right.
You're
just
coming smooth as you're driving down the road. You always want to make sure you have your safety cushion around you, meaning that you have your 2.5 to 3 car lengths in front of you. Make sure that you're always monitoring in front and the back. So say, for instance, if someone is suddenly stopping in front of you, you want to make sure that you're able to make a smooth transition, not a jerky stop, but also at the same time, simultaneously, you're looking behind you to make sure that that person is not right up on your bumper. You don't want to continuously be driving in and out of lanes. You don't want to do anything to startle your customer, because once you do that, then the ride is over with. They're not comfortable anymore.
I agree with that, man, because I was on a long ride to LA and I didn't even know. I mean, the show started at a certain time, and I don't know how we got there, but I didn't feel anything. But when we pulled off the freeway, it was time to make that transition to make a turn on to Hollywood Boulevard or wherever we were going. So talk a little bit about the alcohol and being able to have that in the vehicle, the licensing, about that aspect of the business.
Okay, as far as alcohol, the only way that you can have alcohol in the vehicles, you got to have this right here. You got to have a private petition between you and your customer. Any of our SUVs or sedans, you can't drink alcohol in there because it's considered driving inside the vehicle. But as long as you have that petition in there, you can do that. Because we're part of the responsible drivers of transportation of Temecula Valley wine growers. We are not allowed to be able to put alcohol in the vehicle, like hard spirits and stuff like that. The reason why is because
like prior to a pickup, or
when we're doing wine tours. And the reason why is because, say for instance, these people are already drunk. Now you're taking them into the winery. The bar, they can't determine whether, if something happens, an accident or something, they can't determine did they get drunk there, or were they drunk prior to their getting there. So you have to make sure that you're responsible to protect not only yourself, but all, for any liabilities, but also the winery, because you want to make sure those are your partners too.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes,
know,
yes.
so you want to make sure that you're watching out for them. Now, of course, if I'm picking up some people and all of a sudden they're silly drunk and they want to go to another winery, I have the right, which I will, to say no, I can't take you, because then we're responsible, because we're bringing drunk people to the winery.
Wow, what a big responsibility this business is, in all the different aspects, from dealing with the customer, coming in, trying to make sure you're getting them the services that they need, and that you're filtering that out and making sure you can provide that service. And then once you get them in the vehicle, being able to understand exactly where they are, whether or not you're liberated already, have been drinking already when they get in. Oh man, that's a lot of responsibility. How do you deal with the mental aspect of dealing with all of this stuff?
Patience. Patience. I'll give you a story, real short story. So I had this guy, his daughter was getting married. I had just bought my 14 passenger. He was actually the second person to ever ride in it. He kept asking me, oh man, how old is your vehicle? Tell me about your vehicle. Can I come by and see your vehicle? We went through all that. He wanted pictures of the vehicle, right? So the night of the wedding, I take him to the wedding, pick him up, and we're waiting around. Everyone's in the car. His son is the last person to get in, right? He gets in, we're taking off. Soon as we take off, everybody says, stop, stop, stop. And I said, what's up? And then the door opens, I look in the back, the guy's son threw up all in the front seat.
Oh my
After
God.
all that, right?
All right.
The mom is sitting there and she's like this. She's like, oh my goodness. It was like, okay, now we got to get this vehicle sanitized and cleaned up.
Is that like an extra charge, or that part of the?
Yeah, of course, that's an extra charge. But I'm just saying, the whole trip, he's going through all this, making sure that everything is. But how would I handle it? I handled it with, I was like, hey, I know, I understand. I could have been mad, man. I spent all this money on this vehicle, brand new. When first you break it in by throwing up, that you took me through it. But I was like, no, bro. Hey, I understand everything. You know how things happen. We're just going to go ahead and make sure that we can do the best we can to clean it up right now. But there is going to be an extra $200 charge because I have to get someone to come in and sanitize the vehicle and get it cleaned out, which they were fine with.
Wow,
I felt sorry for the mom. The mom was so embarrassed. She was,
that probably happens a lot in this business. One question I do have for you is, when I first started the limos, or not service, but riding a limo.
That's what these are for. We make sure that we have these in here.
When I first started riding, back in the day, it was called the wide body. When they would come out with the wide body, those was the new one. What vehicles that you see now that you're looking on the horizon to try to get, whether it's size-wise or just, a certain model?
Probably I might step up into a bigger party bus type vehicle. But our vehicles, when we do them, we have going to shout out to Mo with Executive Coach Builders out in Corona. He's the one that builds all my coaches. He built this one. This is custom made. So I would buy a chassis and build it out. I'm thinking about getting a Ford F-550 chassis and building it out. But as we're progressing, we're growing. We've been in this business a little over 3 years now. We're looking at, what is the clientele looking for? Do I have a need that will sustain the budget of what I have to pay monthly? Sprinters are my best vehicles. And a lot of times I get customers that say, hey, I'm looking for a limo, I'm looking for a stretch. And I mention this. I say, okay, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you seen a stretch on the road? First of all, if you do, it's an older vehicle. They say, yeah, I never thought about that. And I said, think about it. When was the last time you seen a black Sprint on the road? All the time. I said, let me show you something. You can do this. You can move around. Can you do that in a limo? And they're like, oh, I get it. And so that, it lets them realize that, hey, I really don't know what I want, but now that you've educated me on it, okay, that is a better choice. So I could go with stretches, but again, it's not worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? This is one of the things that we're excited about talking to you about, the service that you provided. But we'll be right back with Tim, the Limousine guy. So hold on. We'll be right back.
Let's go!
Welcome back to KF&JF Podcast. We're here with a special guest, Sherry, Tim's wife, and we're so excited to have her here today to talk about this limo service that they have. How did you get into this business, Sherry?
Well, Tim and I were interested in trying to find a way of investing our money back into the company, creating jobs and whatnot for people who are underserved, or maybe people who have a hard time getting just the traditional job, you know. And so we actually looked into buying another limousine company.
Wow.
When we looked into buying the other limousine company and the assets they had, really all they were giving us were a few cars and then their Google SEO and all that. So we looked at, well, what if we were able to get our own car or our own limo and put it all together ourselves. So we looked into investing and buying a limo, and then we looked at, well, actually we could buy a limo or a shell and customize it and convert it into a limo, and we were able to do that. All the design and everything was our own, you know.
Wow.
And we got that, and we just went out right away. Tim had so much experience already as, you know, a driver and having his own company before.
Okay.
And we also saw the opportunity in the area because of it being a wine country.
Right, definitely.
And us enjoying it ourselves, right? And we're kind of at that stage of life where, okay, I've already done the grind, you know. It's time for me to have like some type of job that will be fun and then also create opportunities for other people. So, I mean, who doesn't love travel and wine tasting and that type of thing? And then we do parties and all these happy celebratory things we get to participate with people. So that's how I was like, yeah, let's try that, you know.
Wow. So did you think of any other business, or how did the limo business
We still do. We still have some things on tap now, but that one was like the easiest. We looked into some other things. We looked at property and stuff, and we were like, okay, this one will take the least amount of capital, you know, because we were looking into going into it with our own capital and being able to start to cash flow and whatnot right away. So this plan came up, and it actually came out to be the best plan for us.
Wow.
But yeah, now from here we want to be able to branch out into other things too.
Wow, so. That's great. So what are some of the you know, what's the legacy about what you have here? How do you see this, you know, going for you in the future? Is this something you're going to walk away from and have it run on its own, or are you always going to be attached to it in the day-to-day?
Well, we hope to expand it to a point where it does create a legacy, you know. For the children, grandchildren, they already participate in the company. And the plan is to grow it to a point where, like I said, it'll be a legacy for the children. It'll also create opportunity for people, like I said, to work for us and learn from us on how to build your own business. And then we hope to help them be able to branch off and have their own companies.
Wow, that is such a thing. So what are some of the life lessons of a limousine service business that you see, is that if you were to tell some people that are out there trying to start this, what is something you would tell them they have to do or look out for?
I think the most important thing to do is to plan, to look and really assess, what is it going to cost for me to get this business started and to maintain the business and to increase the productivity of it. There's so many aspects of it. It's not just having the capital and just start buying a car and just starting off. There's lots of costs and lots of responsibilities as far as your insurances and stuff. and you you got to build your customer service skills, because that's going to be a really big thing too. If you want to be the top of your competition, and you're going to get a reputation, especially if you're serving a specific area, and you want people to say like, oh yeah, they did that and blah blah blah, and they're going to see you around, and you want to have a good reputation, a good rapport with people. It's all about networking. Is huge.
Yes.
So one of the first things we did was we got into the local chamber of commerce, and that was probably the best move we made, was to get involved in the networking there, and you're going to get to know the who's who of your area. And once you get plugged in with that, then that's going to help get your name out there, the word out there, reputation out there. You're gonna have to set a high standard for yourself, to work out of excellence. In limousine service, it's the timely manner. You want to be before time. You want to present clean vehicle, and a clean, your driver has to be looking impeccable.
Right. That is good. You know, I really admire that when I've rented limos. Those guys coming out, they show respect. They look clean. That was it. So one of my last questions here is, what would you say to the youth out there, since you're saying that you got kids and they're involved in it? How would you talk to them about getting off the couch and trying to take some of that entrepreneurial spirit and bring it to life?
Educate yourself. The most important thing, there's so many resources out there right now, especially online, YouTube, all that. Start to see and invest in learning about people who have done it already. Get online, watch programs about the specific area that you're looking to, get into, industry you're looking to get into. And there's so many tips, there's so many just resources out there for you to learn how to get started, how to grow, and how to maintain your business.
Wow, that's so exciting, guys. So you're listening to it from Sherry, and I'm sure she can tell you a lot more about business. So look them up, look up their limousine service, and being able to satisfy all your needs that are out there. But we'll be right back. But you know who we're going to be back with? The mascot. So stay tuned.
Hi, Tim and Sherry back again with Lady T. Now, of course, she's and her, they're the boss. I'm just, one of the workers here. Lady T, as you guys know, we was doing a segment at the beginning. Where's Lady T? Today, Lady T is in the van with us doing this podcast. The reason why we started Lady T as being our mascot, she's officially our marketing director. When she was 1.5 months old, started taking her to the Temecula Chamber of Commerce. Everyone fell in love with her. Everywhere I took her to, every networking event, people was like, oh, she's so cute. You should let her ride in the van. I get people who ask, hey, when we reserve the vehicle, can Lady T ride along with us? So it's like, well, hey, if that's the case and she's so popular, just like chauwiąeur in this dog spot, Temecula Executive Limos and Lady T. Go ahead, you got something to say?
Well, Lady T is kind of the star of the show. Everywhere we go, she stops traffic. We can't go anywhere without everybody crowding around her, taking pictures, asking her name, and she loves it, and she's just friendly with everybody. So she's kind of really attention grabbing. And she also has her own float in the Temecula Christmas Parade, where she has gone for the last 2 years and drove her own car and represented Temecula Executive Limos in the parade. So it's been quite exciting.
Yeah, she's really been an asset to us. Wherever we go, people, if I don't have her with me, they're like, where's Lady T at? Where's Lady T? So she's, she's a special girl. She has this friendly personality that everyone looks like she's looking right now. She's smiling at the camera. That's what she does. She's a ham. So, yep, that's our story about Lady T.
Hey everybody, we're back with Tim, man. I'm telling you, it was so exciting to hear from his wife, the mascot, and all of that. I think we're just overwhelmed by the customer service that he provides, So here, Tim, how do people get a hold of you and everything?
Okay, well, you can find us on social media. You can find us on Google. You can find us on Yelp. Our phone number is 951-999-8008. That's 951-999-8008. You can find us on social media, TemeculaExecutiveLimos.com. That's TemeculaExecutiveLimos.com. You can email us at info@TemeculaExecutives.com. That's info@TemeculaExecutives.com. So we're on Google, we're on Instagram, we're on Yelp, and we're also on YouTube. So look us up. Whenever you need us, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to service. It's always our pleasure to have an opportunity to be of service to you and your family.
Wow, man, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, man, for
Yes,
taking
sir.
the opportunity. You know what? You know how to reach us. KF&JF Podcast. See you soon.